Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. This is part 2 of our 2 for Tuesday. We talked about Prince Andrew in the first reading today. If you didn't see it, go on back. There'll be a card at the end. You can watch his video. But we're going to be talking about Sarah Ferguson in this one. So I'll be right back. All right, Tarot fam. So I was a big fan of Fergie back in the day when her and Prince Andrew first got married. I thought she was kind of a delight. She seemed very accessible to an American, to a young American. I thought she was very cute and adorable, and I thought it was like, oh, what a great sister-in-law for Diana, Princess of Wales. Then they kind of beat her up in the press and called her the Duchess of Pork. She really wasn't that fat. So for my new subscribers, when I moved to Los Angeles, back in the 90s, I was about 26, 27 years old. I was set up on a lunch by my ex-husband with a bunch of gals. And I think I weighed 105, 110 pounds. I'm 5'2". And basically they were talking about my weight problem. And I was horrified. They handed me a bunch of cards for plastic surgeons and estheticians and hairdressers. Like they were just like, I felt so ugly and fat by the time I walked out of there. Then my ex-husband was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that to you. They were telling me I should get implants. I am blessed now, like, with a little bit of post-kid, post-menopause weight on me. I would be in big trouble if I had implants. So fat shaming, I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it. I think that was pretty mean, and she really wasn't that overweight. So calling her the Duchess of Pork was really unfair. Also, then she had a delivery of pot to the gate at one of the castles. Like, oh my God. The toe sucking incident, which really was kind of the final straw. She was completely excommunicated from the family after. In fact, I believe that Prince Philip never was in her presence again. He said, I never want to be in her presence again. So I think she did, kind of, she had a really rough time. She also, that was how she got in the association with the island guy. The island guy, she actually met him through different circles, and she had borrowed some money at one point. She did go bankrupt a couple of times after leaving the royal family. She's kind of come full circle, and now she lives in Royal Lodge with Prince Andrew right now, and that's like a whole thing. But I think she had some health issues in the last couple of years. I think, she maybe was a little bit of a wild and crazy gal, but let's see what's going on. So let's bring up the card view. Before I do that, I just want to remind everybody, I've got some sales going on for the month of January to get your own magical reading. I've got a lot of cool stuff in there. You can go to the link in the description here and you can go shop some of my readings, and hope to see some of you on my schedule. So please like, share, and subscribe. I'm bringing up that card view now because I know you want to hear tarot, not me. So what was Fergie's whole take on the island guy situation when the news got dropped about Andrew being embroiled and all of that? And I'm being very safe for YouTube right now. What was her take on the whole situation? 7 of coins. She started to do some review, and she got 7 of swords. She started to say, yeah, you know what? There were some sketch things about that dude. Ace of cups, fool. So I think her take on this, we have the Ace of cups in reverse. The Fool card is in the suitcase position, and the Sun in reverse is up top. The 9 of swords in reverse is in the immediate future. So this 7 of coins, when she did start to look back on the whole situation, she saw some red flags with him. She saw 7 of swords. There was some sketchy stuff going on. Those little gals that were walking around weren't massage therapists. The Fool card, this, I always call this the suitcase card. So what this is what I tell my clients. You need to go back in the past and go meet your younger self, go meet your past self, and either pack up some of the chutzpah that maybe you had back then, maybe some of the fearlessness that you had back then, or unpack some of the nonsense that you've brought into the future. So it's either we go back and we dump out some stuff, or we bring some stuff into the future. For her, the recklessness that they were just like, okay, they really felt, I think Fergie really felt like they were insulated against having really negative people in their orbit. I think being in the royal family, I think she really thought that people that were ill intended weren't going to be able to permeate that inner circle, that protective circle around them. Under the surface, the whole situation, I think she's much more realistic about the association with the island guy than Andrew is. I think Andrew's like, well, I didn't do anything, so everyone should just be okay with it. And I think she's like, yeah, dude, no, it's not going to work. One of her concerns is that there's going to be more information that comes out that could potentially be damaging. So this is a concern of hers. Over here, she's like, we just got to ride this out. Baby, we got to ride this out. Nine of swords. We shouldn't be upset and kicking up a fuss if there's nothing to kick up a fuss about right now. So that is her prescription for that particular problem. You can't go back in time and undo what you did. You can't go back in time and make different decisions. So what is she feeling about the lack of Christmas invite? That they were kind of told, you do you, and we're gonna do us. We're gonna have the family Christmas over here, and you just have your kids and your grandkids over there. And this does happen in families. Sometimes, my family, for example, my aunts used to come over with their children, but now all of my cousins, that my mom and her older sister had, we were all born like in the late 60s and 70s, and then my two younger aunts, they had their kids in the 80s, so and beyond. So it was really like two sets of family. Well, now the second set of grandchildren, there was the first five and the second five, that set of kids, they're all getting married and having kids of their own. So, we really do need a large place to have Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, what have you. So everybody's kind of branched off and kind of doing their own thing. So, the royal family, do they have the same logistical issues? No, I think Balmoral is big enough for everybody, but I do think that that's kind of what we're seeing happen here. But how did Fergie feel about not being invited to Christmas? The hangman, she says, you know what? It's unfortunate that, we have to kind of sit on our hands here, the hangman, but we have to realize that, we can't do that. For her, there's an element of, I understand why I'm not invited. So let's just do our own thing at home. 4 of batons. This is safe. This is secure. The Magician in reverse. It may not be the same magical holiday that we've had historically at Balmoral, but so what? Knight of batons. We still have our grandchildren, our children, and we can still make the best of it. So I think she has a much more positive attitude. The Hierophant in reverse, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to dress. We don't have to spend money. We don't have to, do the things. It's a change of tradition, though. The Two of Swords under the surface. This is severing those connections and really going into a future of their own. And that World card, the World is the last card in the major arcana. It is the end of the journey of the Fool. It is leveling to another situation, another circumstance, going into a different phase of life. So I think she is much more pragmatic about it. Much, much more pragmatic about it. And I think she's okay with it being them having their own Christmas. So let's take a look at the Royal Lodge situation. How did she feel about the unknown quality of what's going on with Royal Lodge. How does she think they're being kicked out? There is some talk that Camilla wants to put her family in there. So what does Fergie think about that? Page of Coins, 2 of Coins, 8 of Coins on the bottom, 6 of Swords in the back, 10 of Coins, and the High Priestess. We're going to do a couple other things here. 10 of Batons, 3 of Swords. You know, I think that she would be okay with moving out of there and moving into another house. I think she would be. The 6 of Swords, it actually was a place of refuge for her at one point. He took her in. Andrew took her in after they got divorced. She was in kind of a bad place financially, and so he did let her come back in. I don't know if they were actually raising their daughters then. I think they were pretty long in the tooth at that point. But the Page of Coins, this is a very sunny attitude that she has toward it. We can plant roots anywhere. Maybe, and I do think that, like, her take on this is, we really are empty nesters. Do we need this big place? Do we need, all of this hanging over our head? I feel that he is hanging on to it under it's a principle for him. Like, he's been divested of his duty, and now he does not want to be kicked out of his home because now he feels exceptionally rootless and kind of in a maelstrom. Whereas Fergie, Sarah, is more like, look, we can set up house anywhere. This is this big legacy house, 10 of Coins here, but it's no longer our legacy. If she were to speak frankly with him, I think it would really be a very sweet and understanding situation. Down here, the 8 of Coins, she's willing to either make the effort on the Royal Lodge and get it to where it needs to be, or she's ready to go about her business and go someplace else with him. And I do think they would go together. Now, there was another home that they built, and I think they sold it to like a Saudi. But there was another home, and it was like this monstrosity. It was very American. And they built that in England. I don't think that they ever really spent time there. But she's allowing in the future opportunity for the king, Prince William, Prince of Wales. She's allowing the opportunity for them to make some kind of offer. Long-term outcome, 8 of Swords. I think they do leave the house. I think she's going to be a big part of him not staying there. Did not expect to see that. The 10 of Batons, it's too much for them to handle. I think the reality is they have very little income. I shouldn't say income that is not appropriate for the maintenance on a historical home like this. My parents have a historical home, and my father always says, he gets a leaky faucet and it costs him $20,000. So, there are things that, when you are the steward of a historical home, everything costs a lot of money, and you need to stay on top of it. In a regular home, you need to stay on top of things. Something breaks, you need to fix it, because if you don't, something else is going to break, and you're going to have to fix that and the other thing. So I do think that she's much, much more practical and pragmatic about their positioning and having this house. As much as it pains them with this 3 of Swords to not stay there, the moon, there's so many things behind the scenes that could go wrong and could affect them financially, and they're simply not positioned for it. But I do think she has a much different attitude toward it. And it's not like, hey, let's move the girls in and we'll all live here and share the expenses. Like that's not a reality. So let's take. That's very surprising. I'm surprised that she is very practical about that. Let's see how her health is. Now, she did have a breast cancer situation. She did have to have surgery. So there's no disclosure on that, whether it was she had to have a mastectomy or anything like that, or at least not to my knowledge. But let's see how her health is. Let's see how her health is, if that has stabilized or has improved. 8 of Cups. She is moving away. 5 of Cups. She's got a good attitude. 3 of Cups. This is nice. Page of Swords and 4 of Wands. So we may see another crop up of something. We may see something like that, but it'll be dealt with and it'll be fine. It won't be staying there. 9 of Cups, though, that's unlucky. And King of Swords in reverse. So I think we may see another occurrence. We may see another situation, but it will be dealt with surgery. Either the 9 of Cups in reverse bothers me. I have some concerns about that because that is the wish card when it's upright, and when it is in reverse, it is the non-wish card. So if she were my client, I would advise her, make sure that you're doing all of the things that the doctor says. So what can she do for her best year ever? 7 of Wands, balance out everything you need to. Take time for herself. Make sure that she taps into the resources that she has with that 3 of Coins. The Page of Cups in reverse is not doing enough self-care for ourselves. But that 3 of Coins is asking other people for help, asking people to come to the fore and give some assistance so that you can heal and rest as needed. So kind of a bummer of a last little spread there, but nonetheless, we keep an eye on these two, or not, whatever you guys like. Let me know what you think down in the comments. So I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you in the future.